Responsible for all this, Mr. Tommy DeVito.
Stand up here and tell you more stories. And I don't want to bore you with all this stuff, but I have a lot of people to thank, and I want to thank everybody here, and everybody that paid for a ticket or didn't pay and snuck in. You're very welcome anyway.
We got their names.
You got them? Yeah. Just didn't have to. Anyway, I want to say something about this guy, Christian Hoff. This guy started playing me on Broadway, and I could not believe it. You know, Joe Pesci and I, we went to California to see it in La Jolla, the first time it ever appeared anywhere. And I don't think Christian knew that we were in the audience. Joe and I went in with about 4 or 5 other people, my wife, and after the show, I said, Joe, let's go backstage and say hello to these kids. He says, okay. He says, I want to see that kid that's playing me. Because this kid ran around kind of goofy. And if I have to use one little curse word here tonight, I hope nobody gets offended. But I went backstage, and Christian came out, and this guy ran up to Joe Pesci, and he says, "Hi, Joe. Hey, Joe." He says, "How do you think I did?" He says, "How do you think I played you?" And Pesci said, really serious, he says, "What are you trying to do, ruin my fucking career?" This kid ran out of the building. I've never seen this kid again. And Chrissy came up to me and said, "What do you think?" I said, "Listen, man, I said, you're playing me a little better than I could play me." Truth, I said, "You're doing such a great job." But I want to get off that a little and have Kristen come up here with me for a second, because a great actor. He's not only a great musician, he's not only everything that you've seen in that play is unbelievable, because it's still unbelievable to me that this guy can do that kind of stuff. But beside all that, this guy's a gentleman. I hate throwing flowers while he's standing next to me. But anyway, he is one of the greatest human beings that you want to get to know. Because that's part of the whole thing. Because, you know, no matter how good he is, if he was a what you call, I don't want to say that word, we'd probably just pass. But anyway, he's so great. And the family that he has, Melissa and the baby and his other baby, and his mom and his dad. I've met this whole family. They are just terrific people, including this guy. So,
you know how I feel about Tommy, and I hope I expressed it earlier, and including in my Tony speech. He gave me the shoes to fill, and without Tommy DeVito, there would be no Four Seasons. And I don't think, of course, we all wouldn't be here tonight. And more importantly, he's affected all of us that are in this room in one way or the other over the years. And here's to Tommy DeVito. And here's to his legacy living on forever in this town, in this great country. And I love you, Tommy, and I thank you.
me start off with the thank yous, and I hope I get everybody, because if I leave somebody out, I get yelled at. You know? You didn't mention me. I don't know why you didn't mention me. I'm important. Anyway, I'd like to thank very much Jerry Capola and his wife. Easy things to get together and do. You know, everybody calling and busting your agates and everything else and saying, could I do this? Could I have a table here? Could I sit with Joe? No, you can't sit with Joe. You have to sit with Jen. So on and so forth. And it's a pain in the ass. So he and his wife really went through a lot of stuff. And I thank you for that. Thank you very much. If I want to thank everybody in this room, singled out, I'd be here for 2.5 hours. So I want to thank all my friends, and you know who you are. You're sitting out there. So my closest friends, I love you for coming, and I love. I said it on the podium at the lot there, and I want to say it one more time. On the Pesci family, I can't ever forget. I can't forget Tiffany, I can't forget little Rosie, I can't forget Louise, I can't forget Joe Pesci's whole family that treated me, and still today, like I'm their son and brother and sister and everything else. So, I heard that they were gonna name a street after me. And he said, I said, are you going to be here, or are you coming, or what? He says, are you nuts? He says, I want to be the first one to spit at the sign. So, and I know he didn't mean it, because I know Joe a long time. Everybody thinks we just met a couple of years ago. I know Joe Pesci since he was 11 years old, when he was this fat. And he played the guitar, and we put him in a car and let him play, and I'd play with him, 2 guitars, and had a lot of fun with him. And I still do that today. It's a friend of mine. The only bad thing about it, he's so goddamn talented that you get nervous just being around him, because he has so much talent. This guy sings, he acts, he plays, he does everything that you can possibly do. This guy is one of the greatest guitar players, and nobody knows it yet. But I've been around him a long time and watched this guy play, and played with me a lot of nights. So he's so talented, and I would have to thank him again for all the things he's done for me. And I'll never forget some of the words he said to me. He says, you know what? He says, you took me in when you never knew I was going to be a big actor or a big star or anything. I says, well, that's our nature. I says, we do those things. You're just like I am. I mean, I'm going to do the same thing that you do, you know, because you'll help anybody. He says, well, he says, I want to thank you for taking me in. And I want to thank you for having me. I asked him about a month ago, I said, John, I'm thinking about retiring, because I'm still on his payroll today. And I said, I'd like to retire. He says, you can't retire. He says, I won't pay you. I said, I gotta retire. I'm 80 years old. He said, you're never 80 years old. Don't tell anybody that. He said, you'll never be old. He said, and today. She's so close and so loved by me. Don't start crying. She's loved by me, and she doesn't realize how much. But that's my wife, Edith. Let me thank one more couple in this room. I've been here about 4.5 months. How long have we been here, Nana?
A year.
Seems like a year, huh? Anyway, I live in Florham Park with a couple that's sitting here tonight, and these people are, you can't even replace this kind of stuff. Give you a whole house. He won't even park in his own garage. He parks outside, he lets me park in the garage. So that's how great this guy is. And I love them dearly. And they have two daughters. They're wonderful people, Alex and Bonnie Giordano.